Hello again. Tonight on the bench we have this old 3-horse Briggs and Stratton. I haven't touched this motor yet, so I don't really know anything about it. I know it's complete, and I can tell by the colors of all the pieces it appears to be all original, nothing swapped out with parts from another motor. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's just your basic 3-horse Briggs. Nothing too fancy. All right, let's dive in. Let's get started. Sorry, I'm still using my phone as a camera until I can get a better one. I'm having difficulties with my other camera that I was gonna use. So, anyways. Yeah, until I can afford to buy a better camera, like a nice GoPro or something, I'm going to be using my phone. Yeah, this has been sitting for a while. The air filter's kind of crunchy. Let's see what it looks like in the gas tank. It's clean. It just has old gas in it. See if I can hold on one moment. Let's see if I can get it to where you can see in there too. I'm gonna try. Don't know how well you're gonna be able to see in there. You can kind of see. Anyway, let's look a little deeper. See what else we find. But for having old gas in it, that tank is surprisingly clean. It's not all rusty. See what we got for oil. Oh, hey, it's clean oil. It's like clean. Like somebody just did an oil change on it and then put this thing on a shelf for a long period of time. It's like, looks like brand new oil. Let's see if why did I take that off? Let's see if she has spark. Come on. Make sure that the kill switch is not engaged. Recoil needs a little work. No sign of spark. I show you, but I don't really have a way to hold the camera while I do that, so sorry. Maybe once I get a better camera, like a GoPro or something. Alright, well, let's take off the recoil. You know, actually, one very important thing that I like to do before I really start taking things apart is I like to go along and hit a lot of the hardware that I'm going to be taking out with PB Blaster. Love this stuff. Just a little here, a little there. I just go ahead and kind of pre-spray everything that I plan to take off. So it has a little more time to soak in before I actually get to it. That'll do. All right. That one. Put all the parts in a all the nuts and bolts in a magnet tray. I love magnet trays. They are just So handy. All right, so let's get that out of the way. Let's get this recoil off. That was easy. As you can see, it needs a little work. Just needs a little something to kind of lube it up. So I go in here, this part here that the rope goes around and the spring retracts after you pull the rope. I spray I just shoot some in around the edge there, and it kind of just gets back inside, and then I'll spray a little bit in the center, and then just start pulling that rope, and it'll lube itself up then. We'll work it in and lube it up, and that usually gets them to, I got squirted in the face. That's nice. All right, let's go that way. That usually will work it in pretty quick, and then next thing you know, boom. It works as it should. Let's make a space over here to start putting parts. Ooh, it's cold out here tonight. It is a cold night, as you can see by my breath. I'm going to warn you in advance. The camera on my phone, after so many minutes of recording, might be around 10 minutes or so, I don't remember, it stops recording and then just starts a new video. So, yeah, this video is going to be kind of pieced together of like 10-minute clips or so. So, just a little warning. Like I said, I really need a new camera. But I'm not letting that stop me from making videos. For my subscribers out there, all 2 of you. Okay, I have more than 2, but it's a work in progress. Trying to grow my channel, get more subscribers. So if you have any friends that are into this kind of stuff, please send them a link to my channel, or send them one of my videos so they can check it out, and so they can find my channel, and yeah, would much appreciate that. Oh, my hands are so cold. But I got nothing else to do tonight. The girlfriend is away tonight, so I don't want to just sit inside. Come out here and tinker with stuff. See if I can get something running. Those pieces off. Well, everything here appears to be in good order. I don't see anything that would keep it from getting spark, so it must be, most likely is the points of condenser. I would say probably the points are corroded. So let's get this off. Get the flywheel off. This is going to take a little bit. Let's get started. Some PB blaster on there. I should be able to get some PB blaster. Maybe. Might be able to get some PB blaster onto the backside of the flywheel. Take this little cover off here. I'm just kind of shooting blindly into there, but Should have some PB Blaster on the back side of the flywheel now. Let that start soaking in. All right. I need my hammer. So let me go get my hammer. My big hammer. All right. This is not really the correct way to take it off, but I don't have the thing that holds the flywheel, and I don't have the wrench that goes on these. So, there's a couple of tools I need to get yet. So this is the other method for getting it off. It works. Boom. That's off. But now we're going to put it back on. We're going to turn this so you can see. I'm going to show you. We're going to thread this part, the recoil clutch, in part way, so there's a little bit of gap behind it to allow the flywheel to move out when it loosens up. And what we're going to do is simple. We want this on here because I'm going to hit on the end of here with a hammer. If I booger this up, kind of mushroom it out, I can dress it up with a file or something to clean it back up. That's not a big deal. But I don't want to hit on the end of the crankshaft. I don't want to hit on the snout of the crankshaft and mushroom that out. And besides, this here, I have tons of these. If I end up damaging it too badly, I've got more. Not too concerned about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in behind the flywheel. We're going to pry out while hitting on the end of the recoil clutch here until the flywheel pops loose. Oh, that was easy. Sometimes they put up a fight. It's not uncommon at all for them to put up a fight. But that one came very easy. Judging by the fact that there is clean oil in here, I'd say someone's been in here. Someone was in here not too long ago tinkering with this engine. So it's hard to say what all they were into. They may have already been in here. So that might be why that came off real easy. Alright, a couple of really small bolts here. And then we take off that cover, and that will reveal the, that will reveal the points and condenser behind that cover. But before we go any further, I want to take off the gas tank and the carburetor just to get them out of the way. I should have done that already. And I need a couple wrenches. Well, I need one wrench for this. Let me get them. Thought I had them on the bench already, but I guess not. There they are. The ones I typically need when I'm working on a small engine. Two common sizes. Surprised my camera hasn't cut off the video already. We're at about 15.5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know why it does that, but it does. Sometimes, I guess. Maybe tonight it won't. Hopefully not. But I shouldn't have said that because now it probably will. This thing is coming apart all too easy, which leads me to believe that somebody's definitely been in here before. It's not putting up a fight at all, taking it apart. Alright, what do we have to disconnect? There's the kill wire. Let's get that out of there. And then we just have the governor linkage. And that's loose. Yeah, there is just a little bit of gas in there, but it's not much. Nothing that should spill out of there. So I should be able to just set that aside. Like so. And then, you know what? It's got mounting hardware down here. It's got mounting bolts to mount it to something. Let's just get those off and out of the way. Set those aside to keep, just in case I decide to mount an engine to something. I have the right bolts around. Come on. Have I mentioned it's cold out here yet? Brr. Well, I'd rather be cold out here than warm inside. Sitting there watching TV or something. I've been tinkering with small engines since I was a kid. Let's see. I've probably been tinkering with small engines around 25 years now. When other kids were playing sports and playing video games, this right here is what I was doing. It's always been a hobby of mine. Okay. Already. Oh! That's nice. This little cover here has a nice little puncture hole in it. You see it right there? Right there. Little puncture hole. Damaged from something. And then there's one on the bottom side of it too. Right there. Don't know why those would be there, but it's... I don't know if those were somebody put those in there intentionally or... some kind of old hack or trick that I don't know of. I don't know. But I've never seen that before. So when I go to put this back together, rather than throwing another one on, that's supposed to be kind of seal off to the block around here to keep the points clean and dry. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just at some point clean this up and rub a little bit of silicone gasket maker on there, some Permatex or something, just to seal off those holes. Rather than throwing that piece away and getting a new one, I'll probably just seal those off with some gasket maker. But yeah, that's weird. I've never seen such a thing. I mean, it's behind the flywheel, which is a big cast iron piece, so it's pretty well protected. So I would think that wouldn't have happened by accident. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I like to keep a nice organized workspace, so sometimes I'll stop what I'm doing and move my tools around, reorganize. The points don't look dirty. They don't look corroded, burnt up. So I'm wondering, the next thing would be to check the kill wire. See if it's damaged anywhere and grounding out. Why don't we go ahead and eliminate that kill wire altogether? Just disconnect it here. And I can always put it back in later. Push that spring down, I should be able to, boom, pull the kill wire out. Now let's just move those out of the way. I want to see if I can get in here and show you. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get in here and show you that those points look to be pretty clean, really. Don't know how well I'll be able to see. See if I can. Come on. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera in there at a good enough angle and it not be fuzzy. So I will turn my light off so don't kill the battery. I'll just take them off so you can see yourself. Could be that they're not gapped right, or maybe they're not closing and opening again. We'll find out. Now that I got them off, they look like they could use with a little bit of cleaning up. Let's let you have a look here and see. Don't know how well you can see that. Let me try it. Let me try it this way. It's just going to be fuzzy. Come on, focus. Dag on it. I tried. I'm sorry, this camera's not great. You're going to have to take my word for it. They don't look terrible by any means, but they could use a little cleaning up with a file or something. Normally I would use a file, but I seem to have lost my points file, and I don't know where it's at. I do not usually like to use sandpaper, but that's what I have handy tonight. So we're just going to take some sandpaper. A points file is definitely better, or even a regular file. You usually have to take them apart to use like a normal sized file, but a points file you can just slide between them and clean them both at the same time. But a file is much better than sandpaper. Sandpaper can leave little dirt and debris behind, so if you're going to use sandpaper, you got to make sure that they're clean afterwards. Spray them off some carb cleaner, brake cleaner, wipe them off, whatever. It's clean. We're going to hit this one with a little bit of sandpaper. Alright, let's take a look. That looks better. Looks a lot better. They both look a lot better. I'm just going to wipe them off. Blow them off with a... Let's wipe them off with this clean paper towel. And then reinstall. Before I reinstall, there's this tiny little push rod here that goes down into the engine block. Goes down in this little hole, and there's this little, like this little bloop on the crankshaft where it rides on the crankshaft to make it, you know, go like that to close and open your points. That looks to be clean and lubricated, so there shouldn't be any issue there. Just wanted to give that a look. It's a good idea to check that while you're in here if you're going this far. Okay. Alright, this is tricky, but it's not terrible by any means. Just have to know what you're doing. Got to hook the spring back on down below the points, and then get your points back up where they belong without parts going flying across the garage. Aha! Just like that. See? Now, you know that gap there in the points looks to be awful big. That's probably our problem. But yeah, let's take a look and see if those points, see if you can see there. See if they open and close. Yep, there they go. They do open and close as they should, but with the camera there, I couldn't see very well, so I'm going to check them now to see if they're even closing all the way or not. You know, I don't think they're closing enough. They are not closing enough. I bet you that is our problem. So, I'm going to close that gap up a little bit. I don't have my feeler gauge here, but I've been doing this long enough that I'm pretty good about eyeballing it. I can pretty much always eyeball it and get them right. Now, I don't always do that. Sometimes I do have my feeler gauge handy, and then I use it. But you know, when you've been doing this a while, sometimes you can just eyeball things and get away with it. Okay. That should be correct now. Now watch, now since I eyeballed it and I said that I've been doing it long enough that I can eyeball it, watch, it's probably not going to work. You never know. While we're in here, I'm confident enough that that was our issue. So while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and reattach this kill wire so I don't have to come back in here. That. I guess at some point I probably will come back in here because I'm going to repair those two little puncture holes but not right now. My fingers are getting numb. It's so cold out here. I don't know. I might end up making this a 2-part video. We'll see. If I get too cold, I am going to call it quits and go in, and this might be a 2-parter. We'll see. Suck it up, Mike. It's just a little cold. You can handle it. Oh. Just give those a nice snug. They're not a real big screw, or they're not a real big bolt, and they're going into, you know, some soft aluminum, so you don't want to over tighten them because they will strip out the threads. Certain things, when they go back together, I like to give them a little bit of PB Blaster or motor oil or something. WD-40, just anything to help to kind of prevent corrosion and make it come apart in the future a little bit easier. So, it's nice when things come apart easy, isn't it? So, PB Blaster is handy right now, so I'm going to spray a little bit of that on there. Get out of the way. Come on. Let's check out this shear key. Not gonna lie, this little shear key for the flywheel does not look the best. It's started to shear, but I don't think it's enough. That, I mean, we should still get spark using this one. I'm not trying to run this thing tonight anyway, so I'm gonna throw this back in there. But let's show you what this looks like. Come on, focus. I mean, it's not focused real well, but you can see on the side it don't look right. It's not smooth. And the other side looks about the same. Anyway, so let's go ahead, get this put back on. Oh, come on. Slide that shear key in there. Get this back together. I do like to put a little bit of light oil on the snout here of the flywheel. Because if there isn't any, sometimes this, when the motor's running, when the engine's running, will screech and it'll want to bind up and kick your rope back out of the recoil. Makes a terrible racket, just a screeching, screaming noise. So, PB Blaster's handy right here, so I'm going to throw some of that on there. Come on, line up. There's a little washer deal in there. Aha, got her. All right. Now to tighten that on the flywheel, I'm going to pick. Now you got to be careful doing this because you can break off these fins on the flywheel. But I'm going to pick two thick ones, two nice thick cast iron fins. Wedge the handle, this adjustable wrench. Let's move these in there. Do not go on any of the thin ones or any of the aluminum ones that are these ones down here. Do not go there. You will definitely bust off one of the aluminum ones. And then just reverse the process. Tap this tight instead of tapping it loose. And it don't have to be like super, super tight. But, you know, make sure it is good and on there. I'm just gonna go one more. Now, before we put anything else back on, we are gonna throw this recoil cover back on. And let's just throw one bolt in there just to kind of make sure it stays on. And we're going to check for spark. Actually, I can see this coming flying halfway off, so let's go ahead and throw the other bolts in there just halfway in or so. And then before we get to pulling on it too much, though, let's... What in the world? Man, my hands are getting cold. It has to go there. There we go. That's better. Now everything lines up a little better. But yeah, before we go to, you know, turning this engine over a whole lot, let's just put a little bit of PB blaster down in the cylinder. Because I don't know how long it's been since it's ran, and would be good to have something to just kind of lube up the cylinder, lube up the rings and the wall, you know, piston head. That should do. 3 squirts should be plenty. We are going on almost 40 minutes on this video and it has not stopped yet. That's pretty good. Not sure why it was doing that before, but whatever. Seems to be okay now. So, alright, let's check for spark. And in case we don't get spark, I got something here that I should have tried earlier, honestly, but it's usually not the problem, so I didn't think of it. But I have an extra spark plug, brand new one, that I use as a test spark plug. Let's see. What do you know? We have spark. I'm going to have to try to figure out real quick how I can set up my phone so that you can see. We got a nice, hot, blue and white spark. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. That'll make it fire right there. I bet you it was probably the gap on the points and condenser more than anything. More than the fact that they potentially needed cleaned. I got an idea. Here we go. Let's clamp this thing down. Then I can show you that it has spark. Keep a couple clamps around. Clamp these things down. And I want to try to run them or something, you know. All right. See if I can hold my phone still enough. See that? It's got good spark. I don't know how clear that image was, but I'm sure that you could see the spark. just a little more work, this thing should take off and run. So maybe we will have this thing running tonight. I don't know. We'll see. This needs to come back off. Just for now, we're going to throw the spark plug in its hole. I don't usually like to leave them out of their hole too long. Just another way for debris to get in there, you know. Why don't we go ahead and see if we can get this thing running tonight? I'm pretty optimistic. I'm feeling optimistic about this one. What do you guys think? You think this one will run? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. We'll take a poll. See if you think this thing will run or not. Just using my little Harbor Freight Hercules 20-volt lithium impact to kind of zip this thing back together quicker. Come on. Didn't have these holes down here lined up before I tightened that. So, just throw one in there and then we'll tighten that one. Alright. Let's put these pieces back on. These are important. They're not just for looks. They help to keep debris from getting sucked into the engine up under the recoil while it's running. You know, grass clippings or pieces of leaves or just whatever, anything really. Helps to keep mice out of there too a little bit, but you know how mice are, they always find a way in. So, but yeah, it just kind of helps to keep stuff out of there so that nothing gets in the way of the airflow and the engine can keep itself cool. Getting hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. Just got home a little bit ago from my part-time job. I have a part-time job as well as a full-time job, so I can make a little extra money. Of course, there's no such thing as extra money. Ah, that's nice. Some of that PB blaster I put in the cylinder dumped out of, I don't know, either the intake or the exhaust and onto recoil. Let's wipe her down a little bit. I like a nice clean workspace, and I like for what I'm working on to be nice and clean as well. Just makes things a little easier. Before we go any further, let's turn our attention to the fuel tank and the carburetor. That carburetor looks crazy clean inside. Let's give you a peek. Don't know about the lighting, if you can really see down in there, but it's pretty clean in there. It's really clean in there. Alright, you're gonna have to excuse me for a moment while I kind of dump out that old fuel. Got a big jug down here with used oil, waste oil in it, and I'm just gonna dump it into there. There wasn't a whole lot, and the tank looks, hold on. The tank does look pretty darn clean, but we'll just put a little bit in there to kind of flush it out anyway. Got my test tank over here. Where I have it right now is just temporary until I can, till I get the one that I am going to use, a smaller one, finished cleaning it up. It's a steel tank and it's a little rusty on the outside. I'm going to clean it up, repaint it, and mount it up on the wall in a high spot so that gravity feeds real nice. But yeah, I'm going to use my test tank here to feed a little bit of gas into this tank. But not much. Just enough. Don't want to waste it. I buy that ethanol-free stuff, 90 octane recreational gas called Rec 90. I only use that stuff for my any small engines that I have. So it's not necessarily the cheapest thing on earth, especially now with gas prices going up even more. So I don't want to waste it. I need to put the lid back on. It's a little cleaner now. Let me straight down from the lid where the cap goes, there's this low spot. It's lower than the rest of the bottom of the tank. It's for, like, you know, any debris to kind of settle in. And there is a little bit of gum and buildup there. See if I can clean that up a little bit. See if that made a difference. It did. It looks a lot better than it did. We'll call it good. I can always go back in and do more later, but I don't want this video to run too long. I don't want this video to be like, it's already 50 minutes, almost 50 minutes. I don't want this to be like a, you know, hour, 45 minute, 2 hour video. I don't feel like that's necessary for this little thing. It's not doing a full rebuild, you know, just getting her running. Alright. Probably the only other thing I'm going to do is just kind of inspect the diaphragm. You know what, actually, sometimes if they've been in there a while, it's better to just try it first. So we're going to do that. We're just going to try it first. See if that diaphragm will work. See if we can get it running as is. Because if I take off that cover where the diaphragm is, it might kind of pull apart the diaphragm, causing it to go bad. So, on second thought, I'm just going to leave it. And just fit this thing back together. Gotta get that vacuum line in there. Oh, forgot one important thing first. Let's hook the governor back up. Now, fit the vacuum line back in. the breather tube, I should say, for the crankcase. Let's get these bolts started threading in. One. Two. And then this little guy. Three. Usually I would just go ahead and go through the carb while I'm at it, but I've got high hopes for this one. I'm confident with this one. So we'll see if we can save a little time, see if we can get it to run right as is. We'll find out. Come on, keep turning in. There we go. This one's a little bit trickier than the other one. It's kind of underneath the carb in kind of a tight spot. Come on. Alright. Finish her off with the wrench. Make sure those are good and tight. You don't want to over tighten them because obviously they're threading into aluminum. It'll strip out the threads. But you do want to make sure that there's not a vacuum leak there. So you want to make sure they're fairly tight. Just use your best judgment, really. I don't know that there is an exact torque spec. There probably is. But, you know, who bothers to torque everything to spec on these little motors? It's not rocket science. There, that's torque to spec enough for me. How about that? What do you guys think? Ugh. Alright, now let's get the recoil back on. Yeah, magnet's pulling at the recoil. Let's get it out of the way. Let's move the magnet. We're almost there, guys. Almost ready to see if she runs. Just hang in there with me a little bit longer. Just got to finish tightening this. Make sure the oil is topped off. It was clean, but it was not all the way full. And I don't want to run it without it being full. And then put some fresh gas in it and clamp her down. Oh, would probably help if I had the right size socket. 7/16. I cannot say good enough things about Hercules 20-volt lithium power tools. I mean, I don't know how well they'd hold up in a factory, but for home use, I don't think there's anything better for the price. These are great. It's my preference for cordless tools around home. That and Earthquake XT from Harbor Freight are my favorites. Alright, so now let's check the oil level. Let's make sure it's sitting level first. I got a towel here on my bench to kind of protect the surface of my bench. It's that nice butcher block wood top. And I like to keep it that way. I like to keep it nice. Yeah, it needs a little bit. It don't look bad, but let's add a little bit of oil. It's nice and clean. Got my big old jug of oil here. I use Traveler brand oil from Tractor Supply. I use a lot of the Traveler brand products for like fluids and grease and stuff for anything small engine related at all. Straight weight 30. I like to use the diesel engine oil. It's got zinc in it, which a lot of these old engines they like zinc. So let's not get too crazy here. Don't want to put too much in. Made a little mess. Come on. Alright, looks like we got enough in. I'm going to put the funnel back in the jug so the last of it can run out into the jug. Alright. You know, I think I'm going to, no, it's not going to work. I'm just going to go ahead and clamp this directly to the bench like I did a little bit ago. If I can. That might be tricky. Before I put this fuel tank on, I should have screwed this thing to a board. I might, because the last thing I want is to pull on this rope and have this thing come flying off the bench. Yeah, better safe than sorry. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to take this tank off the carburetor. There's no need to take the carburetor off. It's just an extra step that doesn't need to be done. It's easier to just take the tank off of the carburetor. And then I can, that'll be out of the way, and I can screw this thing down to a board and clamp the board down to the bench. That's another thing that I'm in the process of figuring out, is something that's a more professional way of bolting down a motor rather than just screwing it to a wooden board. Oop. I want to go the other way. That should be helpful. You know, this will allow me to just kind of take a peek at the pickups here. Fuel pickups. They look clean. I mean, clean, clean. Nothing wrong with those. And then, while I'm at it, inside, you notice there's two fuel pickups, right? A long one and a short one. And then these like 3 and 5 horse Briggs, there's, you know, the two holes for them. The long pickup goes in this hole, goes to the bottom of the tank. And then fuel goes up that one and goes out of the carburetor into here. There's like a little bowl up here in the top of the tank. Then the second pickup picks it up out of there. And then it, mixes with the air and goes into the engine. So, that looks nice and clean in there. Sometimes those are dirty and rusty too. Alright, let's get this thing screwed down to a wooden board. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry, heard a weird noise. It's late at night, I'm here by myself, had to check it out. I'm going to mount this over to one side as far as I can so that the oil drain plug is at the edge of the board, and so I can change oil once I got it good and warm. Well, you know what? The oil looks good. Why would I be changing the oil? I don't need to change oil. Never mind. It's just a habit. Usually once I get an engine running, if it's a good running engine, I change oil in it. If it's got old dirty oil, I'll change the oil. So the engine is ready to go. It's either ready for me to use or it is ready for me to sell. One or the other. Alright. Another Hercules tool of mine. Love this screw gun. These things have excellent reviews. And there's videos online of people comparing these Hercules 20-volt lithium cordless tools to DeWalt and like Milwaukee, like running side-by-side tests. And they actually do better than you'd think. They actually do really well. Sometimes they do better. Sometimes they don't. But they're honestly really, really good for the money. Oh. Just drops down into a big hole there. Yeah, for the money, I don't think you can go wrong with these Hercules brand tools from Harbor Freight. I'm sure they're not built with the same quality as DeWalt Milwaukee. I'm not going to say that, but I'm very happy with them. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get a good angle to run a screw in, which is another reason I want to get away from this method of mounting an engine to run it. But, works for now. Just kind of a pain in the butt, but it works. So this is what I do for now. Alright. Oh, should probably put the fuel tank back on. Oh, geez. I'm sorry, I wasn't planning on it being this difficult. Now that the board's there, I can't get the fuel tank where it needs to be. That's nice. Didn't think about that, did I? Well, the carburetor does not have to come off, per se, but it is going to have to come loose. So I guess this video is going to end up being longer than what I had planned. Sorry about that. If you want to fast forward this part, I guess, I don't blame you. I'm not good at editing videos yet. I'm still learning. Otherwise, I would just fast forward the whole thing. This whole section. But yeah. If you want to skip forward, I don't blame you. I probably would too. Alright, let's see if we can angle this up. Enough to get that on. Might have to take that one bolt completely out. Oh, it's so close though. Aha, there we are. Got it. Turn in. See if I can turn it in by a finger most of the way. Yeah, there we are. Got it most of the way in. Just makes it go a little faster if you can turn it in with your fingers most of the way. Oh, come on. This little trick. It's easier to get a flathead screwdriver in there to turn it than it is to get my fingers in there, or even the wrench for that matter. But you can only go so far with that till you gotta use a wrench to snug it. Make sure it's good and snug. And then the last one, this one down here to support the tank, keep the tank from flopping around so it doesn't put strain on the body of the carburetor. Now let's clamp her down real tight. Alrighty. Spark plug. Let's see if we can get any excess PB blaster out of the cylinder. Nothing's coming out, so we will put some carb cleaner in there. Carb cleaner works well to use as ether. Snug her down. Put some fuel in the gas tank. Actually, what I'm going to do, so I have a kerosene heater going over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that out. Sorry about that racket. I'm going to put out the kerosene heater and just pour gas in there rather than using the test tank to put gas in there, because that's pretty slow. That goes pretty slow, so kerosene heater is out and out of the way. Now I've got some Rec 90 here. Got a clean funnel. Just put some fresh gas in there. Some nice Rec 90. The good stuff. The good stuff. Oh yeah, it should be enough. Well, let's take a look. Might want a little more actually. Oh, there's enough in there. I like to put a little bit of PB Blaster like on these metal fuel caps so they don't rust on. Seen that happen a lot on old steel gas tanks with steel gas caps. Seen that happen a lot. So oh, this is one of those weird ones that the choke doesn't want to. Whatever. Alright, let's see what happens here. I'm going to put the hammer in front of the phone to kind of hold the phone. Hopefully you guys don't fall off the bench. Whoa, first pull. She's trying. I see something here that's going to want to fall down, so let's move that. She's already trying. She wants to run. Did you see that? Boom! She backfired and yanked the rope out of my hand. She's trying. Oh ho ho, she's trying. Jeez. Goodness. I think we got a timing issue. You know, I wasn't originally planning on firing this thing up tonight. So I put that slightly sheared shear key back in the flywheel. So with it backfiring the way it is, I think we have a timing issue. So I guess I'm going to stop the video right there because I don't think this thing's going to be running tonight. At least not running right. Here, if I keep trying, that shear key is just going to shear off. But I mean, we got this far. That's farther than I thought we were going to get tonight. The video went a little bit long. We're at about an hour and 15 minutes now. But I will call that a success, really. I mean, what more could have I asked for? The thing needed very little. Just needed to help her get some spark. And yeah, that's the main thing right there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. for any future videos. There will be plenty more videos coming. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and please share the channel with any friends.